Hi everyone, this is Sheryl from Gemzile. I wanted to share with you a tutorial on how to make the tea bag holder, the one that I made into a mini book. So this is one of the ones I made the first time around, and this one will house 6 bags of tea. Oh, sorry, skipped the page. And with this one, you can add pictures, journaling, or, just whatever that you want. So a couple people had asked for some of the measurements, so I figured I'd go ahead and do a tutorial just in case there were other people that wanted to know how I made this book. So when you purchase the file from the Cutting Cafe, after you cut it out and you make your score lines and everything like that, this is what you're left with. The only thing that I did differently was I mitered my corners right here, because when I fold this up, I don't want this corner here to be constricted by this fold line. So this way it folds a lot easier. So I did that on both sides. And so when you buy this file, you're going to need to print out 3 of these because that's how many I used in order to make the mini book. So you need 3. The other thing that I did was I distressed all of my edges and all of my folds. So what I used was the Tim Holtz Tea Dye Distress ink. And so I distressed all 3 of these cuts of these pages, and I distressed them on both sides at all the edges and all of the fold lines as well. Okay, so what you're going to do, as I stated before, you're going to need 3 of these, but you're also going to need 2 hinges. Now your hinges are going to measure 3.5 inches by 1.5 inch. And what you're going to do on the 1.5 inch side, you're going to score at 5/8 of an inch and 7/8 of an inch. And what I did was, after I did my folds, I distressed this as well with the tea dye. And what I did was I only distressed it on one side. And that's because these sides right here, this side here, and this side here are going to be adhered down. So those don't need to be distressed. That's going to be covered up anyway. Now, the only other thing that you're going to need is you're also going to need another piece of paper, which is going to cover your spine, so that when you cover it up with the trim, or if you decide to cover it up with trim, you have something to cover that with, and it's a solid piece. So that piece needs to be 3.5 inches by 3, and that's what this is. And we'll ink this up in a little bit. But first, let's go ahead and get the book together. Now, once you have this folded and everything like that, you're also going to need your mats. So what I did was I matted everything. There's a mat for this front piece here. There is a mat for this piece here, these 2 side pieces, as well as these 2 bottom pieces. And then, of course, there's a mat for the back. I did mat the spine piece here because it's going to be covered up, so it won't matter anyway. So these 2 pieces here and these 2 pieces here are the same size. So this size right here is 3.5 inches by 2.5. So for the purposes of this book, you're going to need 12 of those. Okay. Now for this piece here, you're going to need 6 of those. Now that piece is 3 5/8 of an inch by 5 16ths of an inch. Okay. Then you're going to need, let's see, this piece here in the middle. You're going to need 3 of those, and of those you're going to need, those measure 3 5/8 of an inch by 7 16ths of an inch. Okay. And then for these 2 pieces here, these 2 pieces measure 1 5/8 of an inch by 2.5. Now you may need to make those just a little bit longer. You kind of need to gauge it to see how you like it when you mat it. But I did mine 1 5/8 of an inch by 2.5. Okay. So what I did to kind of save time was I already went ahead and matted 2 of the pieces. Or should I say 2 of the cut files. Okay. And as you can see, there's my hinge there that keeps that in place. Here's the other hinge here that needs to be adhered to this book right here. So let me go ahead and get started with matting this one. That way you guys can kind of see what I'm doing. So rather than assembling any of these like this to kind of glue it down, I left everything unglued and adhered my pieces first, okay? So here are my pieces. So let me go ahead and get started with matting. So what I decided to do was to put this one first. This one will be last, and these two will be in the middle, okay? So let's see. So I'm just going to use my ATG gun for putting this on. If you guys want to use a different type of adhesive, that's fine. I just used my ATG. It worked fine for the first one, so I'm just going to center this. And I've already pre-inked my edges as well on all of the mats. That way I wouldn't have to worry about those. Let's see. For the trim that I'm going to put around for the spine, I used the same type of ribbon that I did before. It came in white, and what I did was I just actually glimmer misted it a couple different colors until I got a color that I liked. And I'll show you guys that in a minute as well. Now you can use whatever you want. If you want to use paper, go right ahead and use paper. You can use a different type of trim, just whatever. I just chose to use the same ribbon. I liked the way it looked when I had adhered it the first time. Okay, so that one goes there. Let's see. Okay, so I'll put this one down. And I just wanted to make sure that I wasn't putting this purple here with the same side as that one. And the paper stack that I'm using in order to do this tea bag holder set here, I'm using the Black Currant stack by DCWV. It's a really pretty stack. Lots of blacks and purples and pinks and lots of grays. They tend to use more cream than they do white. There is a little bit of white in there, but not much. Most of it is cream. But it's just a really, really pretty paper stack. I like it a lot. Okay, so I'm just going to adhere the last large mat for this one. And again, this mat size is 3.5 inches by 2.5. And I'll try to make sure that I post the measurements on the screen as well so that you guys can see which one it is. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to adhere the little border piece right here as well. So that's those two pieces. So that when you fold it up like this, you will see this when you slide the tea bag on the inside, okay? All right, so let me go ahead and put some tape on that. And I hope I'm not going too fast. I just didn't want this to be like a really, really long tutorial. I didn't want you guys to watch me matting all of this paper. I just didn't think you guys would appreciate that. Let's see. So I'll turn this upside down so I can get that in there. See, I'm just smoothing my glue. Okay. Let's see. I hope you guys had a great day. It's Memorial Day. I just wanted to make sure I did this tutorial and got it out for everyone. So I hope everyone had a really good holiday. I had a good holiday. We actually celebrated on Sunday. My family came over. My mom and I cooked. And my brothers, their wives, and my dad, they all came over. My parents are divorced, but my dad always comes over to celebrate us when we all get together. So they all came over, and we just had a really good time. We laughed, we joked, just all kinds of stuff. So I hope everyone enjoyed their holiday and just had a really good time, whether it be with family and friends or just whomever. Okay, so this is the last one. I tend to put all the mats down except for the one in the middle. I do that one last, only because of the way that this gets adhered, okay? So because these are stripes, it doesn't matter which way you put them on. You don't have to make sure. So what I'm going to do is just turn this upside down. And I'm just going to look and gauge as far as how I have this centered. For some reason, one side is larger than the other. I'm not really sure how that came out, and it could just be my measurements and how I cut this. And that's why I said you may want to make it just a little bit longer. See, this side is bigger, and I think it's me. It's not her tutorial. It's me. It's just the way that I cut it out. I did something funky when I did it, so the measurements that I gave you guys should work, because that's the way I did it with the first one. So now what you need to do, sorry I was out of frame. Now what you need to do, since you have, oh, I screwed it up again. Sorry guys. I wasn't supposed to adhere this piece. As usual, I always screw something up, so I'm not surprised. I'm just glad I caught it before it got too far. At any rate, I wasn't supposed to put that down because this hinge needs to go here, so that you're able to make your book. Well, out of frame, sorry. I wasn't supposed to put that down because my hinge needs to go here on the back of this page in order to make sure that I get it all together the way it's supposed to be. Okay? So, and this is the way it looks when it's all flattened out from the back. So, what you need to make sure that you do when you actually put this book together, okay, is you can mat all of your pages except for your front and your back. So basically, you can mat all of your inside pages if you want. Just make sure you don't do the other ones, your front and your back pieces, because you need to put your hinges down, okay? So what I'm going to do is go ahead and put my hinge down. I'm going to put ATG tape all over this piece right here, except don't put it on the fold, okay? Let me go ahead and do that. Sorry about that. But I always screw one thing up. It never fails. Let's see. And all I'm doing now is, because I tend to go over when I put my ATG tape on, is just smoothing it down. So what you want to do is fold it, okay, so that you have that crease right there. All right. And what you do is you're going to take it, make sure that you have this correct on the right way. So because I flipped mine upside down, I need to make sure that my piece is upside down. Okay. So here are my pockets. Okay. Here is my pocket. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to try to center this as best as I can. There we go. I'm going to try to center this as best as I can. And again, make sure that you have it the right way. So there's my bottom pockets. Here's my bottom pockets. So you try to center it as best as you can. And you put the edge of your hinge with the edge of your little mini book, okay? Can you see that? So you see there's that, and here is the edge of that one. And you just press it down. And then you turn around and you also, I would reinforce it with your bone folder, just to make sure that that's down pretty good. Okay, so there. And so this is your little book. Okay, so you just flip over. I'll mat that in a minute. There's that one. Here's this. There's that. And that's the end. Okay. So let me go ahead and put this other piece down. And then that way we can go ahead and finish. And I'm just going to add just a little bit more adhesive to this, only because I pulled it up. And I just want to make sure that it sticks down really well. Okay. And again, I'm just going around making sure that adhesive is not hanging out on the outside. And not sure which way I had this, but see, I'll put it this way. Now, because of your hinge, let me put this up to the camera. Because of the hinge, and when you get ready to put this on, you are going to see pieces of your hinge, okay? I mean, there's no way to get around that unless you just don't want a border. And because I do want a border, most people who don't craft don't pay attention to the mechanisms behind it. I know it's there, but once the finished product is complete and you see it, most people don't really pay attention to it. If there was a way that I was able to actually hide that hinge a little better, I totally would. So all I did was I tried to make sure that I centered it as best as I could, hide the majority of the hinge so that you don't see it, and that's the way it looks. Sorry about that glare. That paper is kind of really metallic. Okay? And that's it. And so I'm just going to reinforce this with my bone folder to kind of get it down just a little bit better. Now, this piece here, remember we didn't adhere that piece yet. All we did so far was we made sure that we put our 2 mats down and we put the side pieces down, okay? So now all I'm going to do is, in order to flip this up and to make sure this stays secure, all I'm going to do is to put some ATG tape from here to here. So from right there at that fold, just right above it, all the way down and all the way down. Because what happens is when I flip this up and I try to reinforce this, it's only going to be adhered to the flap that's right here. It's not going to be adhered to the paper. Okay? And you need that because when you get ready to slide the tea bag in, it's going to slide right in and it will not be, it won't be hindered at all by the glue. Okay? So what I'm going to do, again, is just go ahead and put some ATG tape from here to here. So from right here at the top, right there, right after that fold, all the way to the end. Okay? Let me go ahead and do that. And again, you can use whatever adhesive you want to. I used this ATG tape and it seemed to work fine for me with the other ones. And so again, all I'm going to do is just fold this up and press down, okay? And again, the same thing with the other side. Once you have it up, you just press it down, okay? And this is only adhered to this piece right here. And so what I did was I took one more piece, and that's your piece that goes in the center. And this is the one that measures 3 5/8 of an inch by 7 16 of an inch. And all I'm going to do is glue this right here. Okay? And I'm doing that because I need this to keep it down. That way it doesn't lift up. That's all I'm doing. Okay? So let me go ahead and put some glue on that. And I will stick that down. Okay. So all I'm doing is sticking this down, and I'm just kind of gauging where my center is and where I need this to be. Okay. And you just stick it down, and I'll just reinforce that just a little bit. And there's my book. Okay. So when it's all folded, the back part will look like this. And these two are my hinges, and these are the actual tea bag holders, okay? And that's all it is. So now all I'm going to do to make this, finish this off so I can add the ribbon trim to the back part, is I'm going to take this piece of paper that's going to be your spine, okay? And this one measures, what did it say? Oh, the spine measures 3 1/2 inches by 3. Okay, so theoretically, the way this is going to work is it's going to go just like this. Yeah, it's going to go just like this. And keep in mind, it is a little bit shorter at the top and at the bottom. And that's because your ribbon is going to cover a lot of this. So it won't really matter, but I just needed something to kind of, for structure, to keep this in place. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to adhere this down. Now this I will use a different type of tape for. For this piece I am going to use my score tape. So I want to put score tape here, 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 here. So you're going to put it right here as well as on the hinge. Okay, so I'm going to put the score tape. I don't want to put any score tape right here yet. I need to get this part down first, and then I can go ahead and put it right there on the sides. So let's see. You know what? I'm going to stop the video right now because I'm already at 19 minutes. I don't want this to go over too long. And I think I probably have maybe another 5 or 10 minutes of this tutorial. So let me stop and I'll be right back with part 2.